following is a feature presentation of the Replay Sports Channel, the home for great games. This telecast is copyrighted by the WFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the WFL's consent is prohibited.
Imagine stepping onto a freezing football field, risking a catastrophic physical injury for 60 minutes of just violent collisions.
Right.
And you're doing all this while knowing your organization's front office secretly hopes you lose.
It's a wild situation.
It really is. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are exploring the bizarre, honestly contradictory psychology of the final week of the pro football season.
Yeah, we are zeroing in on December 21st, which is week 16.
Exactly. A day where the mental game completely shatters into two wildly different realities.
What's fascinating here is how the impending offseason, it exposes the true motivations of a franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the buzz around the league right now revolves around the U-Haul game, or, the U-Haul special.
U-Haul special, I love that term.
Right. It's this concept where mathematically eliminated teams are staring down at completely meaningless final game.
Meaningless on paper, anyway.
Exactly. You have 53 players with their bags metaphorically packed. The moving trucks are idling in the stadium parking lot, and half the locker room is already browsing real estate in warmer climates.
Think about the end of the year at a corporate office. You have that one group frantically drinking cold brew at 7 o'clock at night, desperately trying to hit their Q4 quotas to trigger a bonus.
Yeah, we've all seen those guys.
Right. But then you have the rest of the floor completely coasting, mentally checked out, just watching the clock until the holiday party. Which team are you right now?
That's a great question to ask yourself.
That exact dynamic is playing out on a multi-billion-dollar scale this weekend. But to really understand the friction on the field, we have to start at the absolute top of the food chain.
Right, where the teams who have already dominated the regular season are facing a wildly different kind of psychological torture.
Torture is the right word. Let's look at the heavyweights. The late window this Sunday is just a masterclass in this anxiety.
Oh, for sure.
You've got Las Vegas, who are 10-3, visiting Chicago, who are also 10-3. Las Vegas needs a win to clinch the West and the #1 national seed.
And Chicago needs a win plus a New Jersey loss to keep the #1 American seed.
Exactly. Then you have Birmingham heading to New Jersey. Both of those teams already have their divisions locked up.
Which completely changes the math.
It does. And here's where it gets really interesting. You look at the firepower these teams just showed. You've got Jalen Hurts coming off a 51-yard game-winning bomb to Xavier Worthy for Las Vegas.
An unbelievable throw.
Unbelievable. And Baker Mayfield throwing for 368 yards in an MVP-level performance for Chicago.
Bo Nix dropped 4 touchdowns for Birmingham, too.
Right. And Joe Mixon put up a staggering 231 scrimmage yards for New Jersey. These guys are peaking.
They're playing their best football of the year.
But okay, let's unpack this. If I'm the coach, I'm treating my star players like fragile antique vases.
You'd want to wrap them in bubble wrap.
Exactly. I'm locking my franchise quarterback in a sensory deprivation tank until January. Why even risk playing Hurts or Mayfield or Nix if you already have a playoff spot locked?
It seems counterintuitive.
Right. Isn't it like cramming for a final exam when you already have an A in the class?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's about the terrifying risk of rust.
Rust. Okay.
Yeah, the sensory deprivation tank sounds great for preserving ligaments, but it completely destroys the operating system. We call it the rest versus rust debate.
So you're saying rest is actually dangerous?
In a way, yeah. If you sit your starters in week 16 and then you secure a first-round bye in the playoffs, those players might not face a live defensive pass rush for nearly a month.
Oh, wow. A whole month without getting hit.
Right. And you cannot simulate the violent geometry of a live professional game on a practice field on a Thursday afternoon.
But is a 3-week break really enough to make a professional athlete forget how to read a defense? Like, we're talking about the elite of the elite here.
It isn't about forgetting the playbook, It is about micro-timing.
Micro-timing.
Yeah. If you have a Formula One engine, you don't preserve it by letting it sit freezing in a garage for 3 weeks. The timing belts stiffen up, the fluids settle.
That makes sense.
An elite passing attack is exactly the same. It relies on live, high-speed friction. Think about a quarterback throwing a back shoulder fade.
Okay.
That requires knowing exactly how fast your receiver turns their head against a defensive back running 20 miles per hour. That neural pathway degrades incredibly fast without live reps.
I never thought about it like that.
So the debate buzzing around the league offices right now is simple. Will we see the starters play? And for how long? Because you have to balance that against getting the number 1 seed's home field advantage, which is the ultimate prize.
Okay, so maybe you treat it like an engine warm-up. You play them for a quarter to keep the oil warm, then pull them.
That's one strategy.
But even that introduces insane variables. Take Chicago's running back, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, this is a fascinating situation.
Right. He is sitting exactly 13 yards away from a 1,000-yard rushing season.
Yeah.
That is a massive career milestone.
Huge. It triggers contract incentives, legacy conversations, all of it.
So if you are the head coach and you know you need to pull your starters to avoid injury, do you force feed Gibbs the ball on the first drive just to get him his 13 yards?
Yeah.
And does the defense know you're doing that?
Oh, they absolutely know.
They have to, right?
Yeah, it becomes a high-speed game of poker. The defense knows Gibbs needs 13 yards. They know Chicago's coach wants to get his player that milestone so he can sit him down on the bench safely.
So they just sell out to stop the run.
Exactly. The defense loads the box, crowding the line of scrimmage to deny those exact 13 yards. Suddenly, your quote-unquote safe milestone drive turns into a brutal physical war of attrition.
Where your star running back is taking maximum impact.
Right. You risk blowing out a knee just to cross an arbitrary statistical threshold.
Man, it is a luxury problem for the top seeds, but a terrifying one. You are trying to thread a microscopic needle between preserving your Formula One engine and letting the battery die.
It's an agonizing decision for a coaching staff.
But while the top teams have the luxury of debating resting their stars, we need to talk about the teams just below them.
The team's in an absolute dogfight.
Exactly. For the middle class of the league right now, there is no debate about resting. Every single snap is a matter of survival.
It is fascinating to watch how the threat of elimination acts as almost like a truth serum for these rosters.
Truth serum. I like that.
Yeah, it strips away the complex play calling and reveals the raw connective tissue of the team. High-stakes pressure creates either diamonds or dust.
And we are seeing both right now. Let's look at this chaotic jockeying in the middle. Arizona is 9-4. They have to beat Pittsburgh to guarantee a home wildcard game.
A must-win for them.
San Diego is 9-4, just grinded through their schedule and could actually steal the West with a win and a Las Vegas loss.
And then you have Atlanta.
Right, Atlanta is 8-5 and looking to jump to the number 3 seed with a win and some help. We are seeing incredible individual performances driving these teams.
Like Joe Burrow.
Yes. Joe Burrow just put on an absolute masterclass for Atlanta. 404 yards, 5 touchdowns, a 149.4 rating.
When his team had absolutely no margin for error, that is execution under duress.
And look at Arizona. They pulled off this miraculous comeback against St. Louis.
That game was unbelievable.
Fueled completely by their tight end, Trey McBride. 14 catches, 138 yards, and the go-ahead touchdown.
He basically willed that offense down the field.
He really did.
Yeah.
But the wildest part was that defensive fumble recovery by Battle.
Oh, that completely flipped the momentum.
Just a chaotic sequence that changes everything. But then on the flip side of creating diamonds, you have the dust. Tragic collapse of St. Louis. They're 8-5 now, but they've lost 3 straight since their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, went down with a turf toe injury.
Dropping from a top spot to fighting just to hold the number 4 seed against Philadelphia.
So let me ask you this. We always hear about momentum going in the playoffs, but look at San Diego. They just lost a grinder to Chicago, but could still win the division.
Right.
And look at Philly. Drake May throws for 382 yards, but they still lose to Birmingham. As an analyst, what do you trust more heading into the postseason? A team's mathematical seeding or their emotional momentum from these chaotic Week 15 and 16 games?
That's the eternal question, isn't it? Seeding dictates geography, which means home field advantage.
Sure.
But momentum dictates execution. I'd argue execution is ultimately what you trust. St. Louis is the prime example of negative momentum right now.
Because of the injury.
Exactly. Losing your quarterback is a massive system shock that completely alters your playoff viability, regardless of what your seed is.
People hear turf toe and they think, oh, it's just a sore foot. They picture someone stubbing their toe on a coffee table.
Right. But it's so much more than that.
Why does that completely tank an entire football team's execution?
Well, for a quarterback, the big toe on your back foot is the entire foundation of your throwing mechanics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is the anchor point. When that joint is compromised, you cannot plant. And if you cannot plant, you cannot drive the football downfield with any velocity.
So the whole playbook shrinks.
Precisely. Suddenly, you can only throw short, looping passes. Opposing defensive coordinators immediately recognize this. They bring their safeties down and crowd the line of scrimmage. It exposes the fragility of a team's entire season.
We saw that with Los Angeles, too, didn't we?
We did. When Dak Prescott went down earlier in the year, the offensive timing was completely shattered. A high playoff seed might buy you a home game, but if your system has been shocked by an injury, that home crowd cannot throw the ball for you.
That makes so much sense. We've seen what happens when everything is on the line. But human psychology gets truly fascinating when you remove all the stakes.
It really does.
What happens when a team is officially dead, but the schedule says they still have to play 60 minutes of football? Let's pivot to the U-Haul specials.
The psychology of playing for nothing but pride.
Or so we think. Let's look at the packed bags. You've got Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Denver, Detroit, Los Angeles, Cleveland, San Antonio, D.C., Memphis, and New York, all mathematically eliminated.
It's a long list this year.
It is. Look at the spectacular fall of the defending champions, Tampa Bay. They're 4-9, facing their first double-digit losing season since 2020.
A stunning reversal from last year.
But here's the crazy part. In a completely meaningless game, Tampa's Davante Adams put up a vintage 16 catches, 248 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
And he was signed off the free agent wire that exact week.
Right. So what does this all mean for us watching at home? If I'm tuning into Los Angeles versus Cleveland, a game between a 2-11 team and a 4-9 team, why should I care?
It's a fair question.
If the players already have the U-Haul running in the parking lot, isn't it just bad reality TV?
This raises an important question, really, about the business of football.
Okay, how so?
We view a franchise as a single, unified entity. But while the team might be eliminated, the individuals are fighting for their livelihoods.
So they're playing for themselves.
Exactly. Coaches are on the hot seat. The notes point out people asking if this is Jim Harbaugh's last game in LA or if Mike Vrabel will return to Memphis.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about the coaches' jobs being on the line right now.
It's huge. And players like Davante Adams. He's putting up elite tape for next year's contracts. He isn't playing for Tampa Bay's playoff hopes. He's playing to secure his financial future.
That completely changes how you watch these games.
It does. And if you want proof that pride and job security are dangerous motivators, look at Pittsburgh.
They're 3-10, right?
Yeah, 3-10. But led by Mahomes, they just destroyed Los Angeles without committing a single turnover. They proved that a team of guys fighting for their professional lives can be just as dangerous an opponent as a playoff-bound team.
That is wild. And
Yeah.
there's also the race for the draft, right?
Oh, absolutely. Los Angeles holds the #1 overall pick at 211 right now, trailing Detroit, Pittsburgh, and the New York-Cleveland tie at #5.
So losing is actually good for the franchise.
Statistically, yes. But tell that to the guys on the field taking hits.
Right. And you also have these individual milestones keeping players motivated. Aaron Rodgers needs 124 yards for a 4,000-yard passing season.
Burrow needs 408, Goff needs 224, Lamar Jackson needs 439.
And the receptions battle is intense. Arizona's McBride has 85, Cleveland's DJ Moore has 81, and St. Louis rookie Lad McConkey has 80.
Those numbers matter for contract bonuses.
So synthesizing this deep dive, what we are witnessing in Week 16 is just an incredible spectrum of human motivation.
Truly across the board.
From coaches meticulously calculating the risk of resting stars like Hurts and Mayfield, to playoff bubble teams fighting for their lives, all the way to eliminated players frantically trying to secure a 4,000-yard milestone or save their head coach's job before the U-Haul pulls out.
It's a microcosm of human behavior under pressure.
It really is. And for you listening, try drawing a parallel to how you manage the final stretch of your own massive projects. Do you coast when the goal is met, or do you fight for every last statistical yard?
I want to leave you with a deep, lingering question that we haven't explicitly debated yet.
Lay it on us.
Think about the ethical paradox of the draft system in these U-Haul games.
Okay.
The organization's front office actually benefits from losing today to secure a better draft pick tomorrow, like LA holding that #1 spot.
Right. The executives upstairs want to lose.
But the athletes on the field are risking their physical bodies and future contracts for pride. So as you watch these final games, ask yourself, what happens to a workplace culture when the management's secret goal is to fail, but the employee's only instinct is to win?
That is such a profound contradiction, and it completely rewires how I look at these games. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. As always, keep questioning the narratives behind the numbers. We will catch you next time.